Hey guys, it's Danny. Alrighty, today I actually started off this video trying to make a requested updates video, and I will do that, but not today because in the meantime I got an idea. You know how I tell you sometimes that I do some updates that nobody requested, but I just want to have an entry for that orchid, a visual, to see its evolution in time, and then at some point compile a video with some sorts of how it was a year ago and so on. I want to have a database of images for particular orchids, so I will title this series because it's kind of hard sometimes for me to search in my video archive. But hey, alrighty, so today I'm gonna title this new series Orchid Diary, and from now on it's just gonna be an update where I tell you about a particular orchid. It's not necessarily gonna be in bloom or anything. I'm gonna tell you about the history very briefly just to remind you and myself, and take a visual of how the orchid is doing now, and in time, you know, do a sort of then and now, how I did in the past, and see the evolution of orchids in time. How about that? So alrighty, this is the first episode of the series of the Orchid Diaries, and I think I will start with this thing right here that I think you can see, but I don't know if you can tell what it is. Alrighty, so this is an orchid that I purchased last year. I don't have it for a year though, it's just a few months. A Dendrobium loddigesii. In English it might be loddigesii, I'm not entirely sure, I only heard it spoken in German. So anyway, he doesn't look all that great, right? Well, partially it's okay, it is the time for him to lose its leaves. That's one thing. The second thing, when I purchased it, it was on a mount. It wasn't one plant or just one plant that was very bushy. It was actually two canes with a whole bunch of keikis. Some keikis sadly are not present with us today, and I will need to throw this away. But as you can see, some of the keikis have a lot of roots. Now, here's the catch. On the mount, they were getting watered because they were growing on the mount. Here, they're not getting so much water because only the bottom of the canes are potted. Therefore, these keikis, which you can see some of them just died off, are desiccating at this moment because the mother plant cannot really keep up with them. There are just too many keikis. The thing is, I need to do something about this guy. Either separate the keikis, which I'm thinking of doing because they are mature, they finished their growth and now they're gonna start growth of their own in the spring. Either just mount it somehow because this does not work. And on the picture on eBay, I really didn't see what was going on. I didn't know that all of these, they were in the same plant. They were just two canes with a bunch of keikis. So yeah, you have to be very careful when you order orchids. If this is not what you want, a bunch of keikis, then don't buy it. I couldn't see it. I just thought, oh, what a bushy plant. No. So yeah, this is the loddigesii as it is right now. Not doing all that great. I need to do something about it. And here we have the Paraphalaenopsis labukensis. I'm not even sure how to film this one. Let's try like this. She's a big girl now. I purchased this one a little over a year ago actually, again from Orchid Garden, and look at her now. I purchased her as a seedling actually, and now look how big she grew. Each leaf was larger than the previous one, so that's great, but for the life of me, I cannot make this orchid sit up straight. That was a joke. I know the pattern of growth of this orchid. It's supposed to be pendant no matter what, and if you remember, I tried growing it in a upside down basket. It didn't work so great because the synthetic was not actually absorbing water as easy as I thought it would. It was actually repelling it, so I decided I should just put it in semi-hydro. And she appears to be doing really, really well. She is growing a new root right here. She still has 1 or 2 more years before she blooms, I suspect, but I love how she's growing. New roots are being produced right now together with spring, so I would say this is a success. I keep her in brighter light than Phalaenopsis actually, quite a lot brighter, but not necessarily Cattleya. Let's say Oncidium type of light. She seems to be doing quite okay up until now. I like the color of the leaves. They're not very, very red. They're also not very, very green. Oh my goodness, you guys, I was not expecting this. Alrighty, so my Vandas right now are on the wires. My Vanda rack is empty. And this is because I showered them. They were very dusty. Now let me show you where the Tolumnias reside. So here is the Vanda stand that I just showed you this week. And there, do you see that Cattleya? That's the purpurata. Let's look behind her. That is the other Tolumnia that I have, and next to it was this one that I just pulled out. We're gonna pull out the other one as well, but let's just take a look at this one. Okay, so here she is. She's in bloom. This is Tolumnia Orange. She never ever bloomed for me, And this is the orchid, oh my goodness, this was 2 years ago. Remember when I told you that Tolumnias don't seem to like my clay pots too much because they just get dehydrated? And the orange one was the one that never did spectacular for me. It always had some sort of spots on the leaves, which you can see some remains on the older growth. So in one of my 2 years ago videos, I told you, you know what, I'm just gonna unpot it from the clay pot, put it in a plastic pot, give it more hydration, and also eliminate the older growth, and we'll see how she does. Anyway, look at her today. She looks great. Yes, she still has some freckles on the new growth. These are the new growths. On the older growth, I do still have very, very limited spotting. She was full of spots, and then all of the growths just died off. I didn't even look at her in the longest time, actually, because they're just so secluded there. Wow, okay. She looks great, actually. And the reason why they're not in semi-hydro, I just watered them yesterday, is that I don't think Tolumnias will do all that great. Tolumnias love air. They're like Vandas, kind of. So I was wary to put them in semi-hydro, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do a sort of simulation. I'm gonna put them in leca, but I'm not gonna create a reservoir. This pot has holes at the bottom, and I'm just gonna leave a little water in the tray, see how they do, or control the moisture better. Well, look at that. It works. Look at these blooms. I was not expecting these. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I need to make a separate video for her. So I will. Let's check out the other Tolumnias, see how they're doing. I doubt they're in bloom, but hey, who knows? Okay, this is the Corona. This one appears to be doing okay. She's well recovering, actually. I lost a growth here. And also, this leaf was growing somewhere inside. This is a new growth, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, these leaves were caught in the dried growth here. So I had to save them, but yeah, they look wonky. These, let me just see, which is the new growth? I'm not sure. Oh, wait, maybe this is the new growth or the newer growth, and oh no. So this growth, I think, grew that mangled growth there and another new growth here, and this one, I'm not entirely sure, might be a new growth. So yeah, this one, yeah, kind of suffered some losses, but she's looking better. And how do I know that she rooted? There you go. So yeah, she's liking the setup. That's great, and she's looking better than it used to look like. These were the orchids that did enjoy my previous setup as well with the ceramis. Problem was the clay pot, and I noticed when I unpotted them, I think I even filmed them, around the pot the roots were dead. Yes, these orchids like a lot of ventilation, but not drying out way too much. No orchid actually likes to be kept dry for too many days, no matter how dry tolerant or drought tolerant it is. Okay, so the Corona, whoops. Okay, this is split. I need to fix this. I need to change it. So this was the Corona. Not as great as the orange Tolumnia, but she's on her way. I just lost growth here. So yeah, I think I need to clean her up a little bit. And I am enjoying the fact that she is rooted. She's rooted very well. So that's great. Alrighty, this is the Gentin Orange. Oh wow, she's making a full recovery. You might say, oh my goodness, what is that? Yep, she's making a recovery. If you remember last year, this one bloomed, and then I went ahead and repotted it again into the very same setup as the other one. And I told you that I made a division and I saw this orchid has fusarium, clearly. Because at one point the growth just started to die off. So I thought, okay, it's either the clay pot, either the fusarium, either both of them. Unlike the other Tolumnias, this one was actually dying off. It wasn't just dehydrated, so she was a little worse. She bloomed so beautifully for me. Last year she had 2 sets of blooms and they were different between them. One was orange, one was yellow. Yeah, surprise. Tolumnias are full of surprises, actually. And this year I decided, okay, I'm gonna put it in this setup. I'm gonna try the simulation of semi-hydro, or semi-hydro, if I can call it like that. And yeah, she's making a full recovery. You can see this old growth is still alive. I lost all of the older growths on this orchid. They just shriveled away. And this, oh wow, she's rooted. She's very well rooted. You can see the growths are tiny, but they look great. The color is great. There is no spotting, no shriveling, no nothing. She's actually looking a little better than the Corona that I showed you. This one is a little wobbly, but that's a secondary growth. It's okay, I'm not gonna move it. She's making a recovery, so that's great. I get many questions regarding this setup. Not semi-hydro, a normal pot with leca and just water in a tray, if it's viable. Anything is viable, really, if it works for you. If you provide air and moisture at the same time, anything works. Anything. However, is it easy to water for you? Yes, no. Is it okay in your environment, or does it dry out too much? You know, you have to find that out. Will it work like proper semi-hydro? Absolutely not. The proper semi-hydro with the reservoir relies on the fact that the water down here will only go up, it will not be lost. So if you have an orchid, you know, it doesn't matter, but if you have multiple orchids, you will have a lot of water loss. It doesn't work like semi-hydro. Does it actually work? Yes. But you know what? Anything on this planet works with orchids because they're epiphytes. So keep in mind, water, air, and nothing toxic to their roots. And behold, you have an orchid setup. Be creative. And the last orchids we're gonna take a look at today are the Sulawesii hybrids. This is a Dendrobium type of orchid, and they're related, they're just different. Although one is labeled as Dendrobium Sulawesii Orange, and the other one is loddigesii Pink crossed with Sulawesii Orange. It's a mystery with these guys. They're obviously different, I think, but I don't know. So these were two types of Dendrobiums, absolutely new for me, and I don't know much about them. I don't have much experience in that regard. I can read a lot, yes, but it doesn't mean that I have experience with them. I have them for 6 months already or so. Let's see how they're growing. This guy took a break when I got him, he got adjusted, and now he's continuing growth, as you can see. And he has a new growth here. And this guy, he is growing in the back there. But these are the type of Dendrobiums which get crinkly leaves until they start to hydrate themselves. So both of them are okay. I don't know how they will do in my environment, because these guys like intermediate, cool temperatures. So I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, I'm not even sure if you saw the one above. So these are the two Dendrobiums that are just in my greenhouse and are doing mostly nothing. I cannot really tell you much about them, but I really wanted to make this entry just to see how they're doing. We'll see how they do during summertime, because I got them in autumn when things weren't very hot. Fingers crossed they will not do bad in my summertime, but we'll see. Okay, let me get you in a little closer to the first one. There you go. This is the older growth. Ooh, what's this? I have a little nubbin here. Oh, what is this? Okay, it's a little nubbin, but you know what? I'm not gonna keep my hopes way too high because, you know, I don't think it's gonna bloom. They have beautiful flowers. And here are the new growths. These are the crinkly leaves I was talking about. They're not all that bad, and this guy managed to get rid of his crinkliness and is growing nice now. So these were the Sulawesii hybrids. Alrighty guys, this has been the first episode, let's call it like that, of this orchid diary, and oh boy, what a surprise we had. I swear I didn't see that Tolumnia. I know somebody asked me, or actually I'm not sure if anybody asked me about Tolumnias. They did ask me in the past. I showed them when? 2 months ago, I think. And now I thought, well, okay, let's make another entry because we were actually observing their evolution. And behold, flowers. I was not expecting that. So happy about that. We're gonna make a separate video on her. It's the first time that she blooms. And yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this diary series. I know this is a little bit more for me just to have this footage of the orchids. There are so many orchids, and sometimes if they're not doing much, they're not in bloom, or they're not sick, they don't get filmed. And my videos are actually a database for me as well. I go back and I see how they evolved and I make compilations. Look, this is how it looked 1 year ago or 2 years ago, and I put it in a new episode. It's fun to see the evolution. But anyway, let me know if you think this is redundant or boring, or you enjoy it just to see the orchids that aren't really spectacular, but you know. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed. Anyway, whatever the case might be, let me know down below, and as always, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for regular orchid videos, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video or an update. And with that said, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye!